Relationships between classes. A class may be involved in one or more relationships with other classes. A relationship can be one of the following types: an association, inheritance, realization, dependency, aggregation, composition. Let's see the association. Associations are relationships between classes in a UML class diagram. They are represented by a solid line between classes. Associations are typically named using a verb or verb phrase which reflects the real-world problem domain. There is an association that connects the control class, class 1, and the boundary class, class 2. Inheritance. Subclass 1, subclass 2, and subclass 3 inherit from the superclass. Superclass is a more general classifier, and subclass 1 and etc. are more specific classifier. Each instance of the specific classifier is also an indirect instance of the general classifier. The specific classifier inherits the features of the more general classifier. Realization. Realization is a relationship between the blueprint class and the object containing its respective implementation level details. This object is said to realize the blueprint class. In other words, you can understand this as the relationship between the interface and the implementing class. Example of inheritance: we have the animal, and then we have dog, cat, and horse that derive from animal. Inheritance and polymorphism. UML makes a distinction between an operation and a method. An operation is a signature that defines the operation name, its arguments, and its return type. A method is an implementation of an operation. Multiple classes in an inheritance hierarchy can have the same operation. They may define an operation, but each class may define its own implementation of that operation. Operations are polymorphic by default, meaning that subclasses or classes farther down the inheritance hierarchy can provide their own implementation of an operation rather than inherit their parent's method. However, the leaf property is used to state that a given operation cannot be overridden by subclasses. Realization. For example, the owner interface might specify methods for acquiring property and disposing of property. The person and corporation classes need to implement these methods, possibly in very different ways. Dependency. Dependency is a special type of association. Dependency can be, for example, when an object of one class uses an object of another class and the code of a method. If the object is not stored in any field, then this is modeled as a dependency relationship. Here we are, class 1, dependent class 2. Dependency exists between two classes if changes to the definition of one may cause changes to the other, but not the other way around. Class 1 depends on class 2. Aggregation. Aggregation is a special type of association. It represents a part of a relationship. Class 2 is part of class 1. Many instances, denoted by the diamond, of class 2 can be associated with class 1. Objects of class 1 and class 2 have separate lifetimes. Composition. Composition is a special type of association. A special type of aggregation where parts are destroyed when the whole is destroyed. Objects of class 2 live and die with class 1. Class 2 cannot stand by itself. This is a class, attribute, association, aggregation, operation, abstract class, generalization, This is an example of what we learned so far.